Aloha, everyone. Michelle Melendez with Blossom Inner Wellness and StandTogetherHawaii.com. And we have an action that has an expiration date of October 6th. We are going to make a complaint with the Maui Police Commissioner against the Maui Police Chief. This is something everybody can do all over the world. You do not have to live in Hawaii to do this. And I'll show you where it is, and then I'm going to explain a little bit about why we're doing this. So I'm going to share my screen and Google. So the first thing is you can go to standtogetherhawaii.com, and you click on Maui Fires. I'm sorry, you click on action, take action. So we're clicking on action, and it comes up, and we can file a complaint with the police commissioner against the police chief Pelletier for not answering questions. I have it all written out. So you can click on this. Is going to be an information brochure that explains about this, and this is what that is. Who may lodge a complaint? A complaint may be lodged by any person who has been aggrieved in some way by an on-duty police officer or off-duty police officer or employee of the Maui Police Department who acts under the color of law. That's a whole another topic. And this is what the complaint looks like. It looks like you just print it out. Really, the steps are right here. Print complaint, print summary. This is the summary I created. I am getting it verified and making sure that everything looks good. So I am getting that done by a friend of mine who works for the National Security. And then you can click on this, and this is what it is. You're going to mail it to the Secretary of the Police Commission, and you can change anything you want. But here's the complaint. Locals have testified that the police officers blocked exits. That's 1. 2, the police chief is also the coroner. That's not okay because that doesn't show transparency. The police chief has 3. The police chief has violated the First Amendment, freedom of the press, by not allowing press in to report on the fire and not allowing drones to fly over. That's number 3. Number 4, the police chief is violating people's right to return to their home. Which violates the Fourth Amendment that protects people from unreasonable search and seizures by the government. He is allowing strangers to go through people's private property and denying homeowners entry. 5, the police chief is allowing evidence to be destroyed. This was not a wildfire and must be investigated. So that is the complaint that we can do for the people of Lahaina.
I wasn't there to experience what many people had experienced. I was north trying to get power, not knowing that my town was burning down. I want to share this with my friend Kirk Bose. Posted this on my Facebook page. We left our home after we decided to leave on our own at the bottom of Lahaina Luna neighborhood. No sirens, no police or firemen, just left on our own because it was getting scary smoky. Made it out to Lahaina Luna Road through the fire, barely escaped. One cop at the intersection waving us into town. Wouldn't allow us to turn either north or south on the highway. Got trapped by the outlet mall trying to turn north on Front Street. Meanwhile, the one policeman at the old chart house turns out was not allowing cars out at all. They had no plan, no communication, no preparation, no common sense either. Nearly killed us twice. Drove, then ran south down Front Street while people at Outlet Mall jumped into the water, embers blowing under the car. Made it to 5:05, then 10 minutes later, it all started burning. It's a miracle we are alive. I'm not pissed at the police or firemen. They did the best they could as people, but they are understaffed, underpaid, under-equipped, and poorly led, trained, and prepared for a real emergency. Also, I have a friend that was working at Puamana and nobody evacuated her. She decided that the smoke was getting really bad, and she was there at the south end of Front Street, was denied access to go south where she would have been safe, was directed by the police to turn around and head back to the death trap in Lahaina. She made it to the south or the north end of Front Street, where she was gridlocked after making it through a maze of gridlock to the end or the north end of Front Street. turned back around towards Puamana. By the time she got back to the other end on the south side of Puamana, the police weren't there. Apparently, they wouldn't let anybody through because the power lines were down. But at the same time, there were still vehicles coming from Wailuku bound, from Wailuku towards Lahaina.
Okay, hello, I'm Ann Williams, and I lived at 457 Lahaina Luna Road. And I definitely encourage this whole fire to be investigated further, not only for just legislation, but just on a criminal level. I'll just tell you my story. I right there, about 3 blocks where the fire's going off. I immediately knew there was a fire because I'd been watching it personally, but didn't even have time to get into the car and drive. The roads were already blocked. My driveway, I wouldn't have even been able to get out of my driveway if I wanted to. Luckily, my key actually broke when I tried to get in, and so I had to run down. But thank you, God, that was my saving grace. If I was in my car listening to all the policemen that were out there, I would have been dead, like most of my other friends and relatives. Ran down to Lahaina Luna Road, got down to the light. Luckily, I found my daughter down there in her truck, so I did get into a vehicle at that point. We're being blocked right there. Couldn't go anywhere by a police officer. But we were one of the smarter people. Disobeyed the cops. I just went down. We had to go down Front Street in order to save ourselves. I had a whole family in my car, including the 2-year-old. There was no way I was going to sit there and listen to this cop telling us to stay put. Went down Front Street, total mess. So many cars. And we're looking at 10,000 people trying to get out right away, all at the same time in the tiny little streets of Lahaina. Everybody being forced to Front Street, not being able to drive on the highway because there were some power lines down in that immediate area. We went through Safeway parking lot, saw the power lines there, so we ended up going out. Finally, we did escape out the Fleming's Chart House exit to go north. We went north. Free sailing at that point after Fleming's got out there. They hadn't blockaded us yet. I was one of the lucky few that got out that way. No power lines whatsoever. It was a safe exit all the way north. And we got to Honokawai that way. After me, though, they decided to block it. And there was still no power lines down because I did come out the next morning and I saw the death trap. It was where there were no power lines still yet the following morning. Everybody could have gotten out. Everybody could have gotten out. It was free sailing going north. But the police officer there, quote unquote, from direct other residents who talked to him, were walking, saw all the cars stopped. He finally walked all the way up to the front at the exit. Policeman standing there, and the guy said to the policeman, "There's a fire. The fire is coming. You got to let these people go. I've got orders." We need to investigate that. Who is giving these cops orders? I mean, if the police officer might be taking orders, it's not his fault personally, but there's somebody above him that did this, and they need to investigate that. And then John said the far end of Front Street was blocked, bringing him in that way, and then blocked this way. It's obvious we were intentionally trapped. And I hope that this gets investigated further. And I have the eyewitnesses who have spoken to that cop directly. Thank you.
Jeffrey Stephen of the House of Jarrett. Now you put a face with a name. I am the one that sues this group, and I'm holding you accountable. And the reason being, legislation will not bring back the dead nor the harm. There are hundreds of people that are not allowed onto their property except strangers to the EPA are sifting through their sacred property and sacred ground, and they are not being investigated. This same material is then removed from the site and supposedly being sent to the mainland. That should be of high concern to you, because if this chamber who addressed this same issue in 2018, is allowing people from out of our country, the nation of Hawaii or the state of Hawaii, to abscond this information, because I guarantee you, none of you know exactly what's responsible for this fire. None of you do. And because of that, it's a crime scene. And if it's a crime scene and they're removing the product or spraying product on it, the EPA spraying product on it, and then they're removing product from it, you don't know if it's an accelerant from chemtrails, whatever those things are, or if it was malfeasance by the electrical department, Hawaii Electric, Maui Electric, same company, or if it's malfeasance by maladministration, because I, as a builder, I'm licensed in electrical, plumbing, general contracting. I'm licensed to remove asbestos, toxic metals, and lead. And I can guarantee you, I've seen pictures of these people doing their thing, and they are not in hazmat suits that qualify for them to remove lead from a house, let alone toxic waste. Yet they are. You don't know what is going on. And they're basically, because of that, it's a crime scene, and they are manipulating, taking material from it. Under Title 18 USC 4, malfeasance and a form of fraud. You now know that this has gone on, and because of that, you must do an estoppel immediately so you can have a true investigation from outside sources that are not from someone that, whether it's a directed energy weapon or chemicals coming down, or the electrical department not having the correct size pulls up, or the administration not demanding that it's done right, or this group not demanding it's done right. You have a responsibility. Not just to me. I come in the name of Yeshua. You have a responsibility before God. You're going to all account before a living God. And trust me, you see the scar on my face? I died at the age of 15 months. I drowned at the age of 3. I've had other things that have happened. I know the other side exists. So please, for the children's sake that did not get to speak because they were incinerated, investigate this whole thing. Have an estoppel, go in immediately, take information out so you can find out exactly who, what, and how it actually happened, so it doesn't happen again.
Thank you, Mr. Steven.
And so please, if this speaks to your heart, if you're questioning why this police chief has done this, please go to standtogetherhawaii.com, click on action. The steps are there. I've made PDFs for you guys. All you have to do is print them out, sign them. I have step-by-step of how to fill out the complaint form. Get it notarized preferably, or witnessed by somebody. If you can't get it notarized, absolutely, then just have a friend sign it, you know, and say, yeah, I witnessed that this was signed. And don't sign it until the notary is there. You have to be in front of a witness or a notary to have, then you sign it in front of them. So they're saying, yes, this person signed it. And you'll need to bring your driver's license or proof of ID to the notary. So they go, yes, this is the person, matches this name. Okay, you guys, so much is going down. And this is the power that we have. This is due October 6th. So get this in before then. And let's just all do our kuleana and stand together. So standtogetherhawaii.com. Sending you guys lots of love. Bye.